Very positive, and I feel like Sweden can contribute to NATO, and I'm overall very happy.
We've been doing exercises and worked together with NATO before, so we had like one foot in the door for a while, so it feels like it was coming, and it's a good thing.
Two Swedish soldiers earlier this week saying they're happy their country is the newest member of NATO. The final roadblock has been cleared for Sweden's entry into the military alliance, making it the 32nd country to join. And Sweden's entry into NATO ends more than 2 centuries of neutrality for the Scandinavian country. So what does it bring to the table, and what does it mean for NATO's adversaries like Russia? For his perspective, I'm joined by Robert Baines. He's the president and CEO of the NATO Association of Canada. So, Robert, just break this down for us, the benefit that NATO gets by having Sweden as part of its ranks.
Well, thanks very much for having me. First of all, I think we should just take a quick step back. How did this all come about? Both Sweden and Finland, as you say, 2 centuries of neutrality ended because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Suddenly, that totally changed the security dynamic of Europe. And both Finland and Sweden decided that it was far more impressive for them to be part of this alliance than just working with it. So Sweden itself, obviously, in the north of Europe, on the North Sea, it's got a significant history of working with NATO on all of its exercises in the past. And so what it gives to NATO is so much. It has a tremendous industrial capacity. It's helping NATO right now. Most NATO members are all clamoring for more military equipment because we've been donating so much to Ukraine. Our stockpiles are depleted. So every bit of industrial stability or capacity we can get, we're really working to ramp those up. So Sweden brings that with Saab especially. They have a tremendous air force of 100 Gripen fighter jets. That is very valuable to NATO, making sure that's integrated into the defense plans of the alliance. They also have submarines, which is not always that common a capacity for NATO countries. Submarines, especially in the north, are going to be very valuable for the coming stages of Russia's invasion and making sure that the north of Europe is secure. They also have a great deal of intelligence as well. And NATO, of course, deals with intelligence in a centralized capacity. Every NATO nation gathers it from their own point of view and then makes the alliance better by putting them together and collaborating on what to do on that intelligence. But perhaps the most important is the unity that shows for standing up against Russia. I think that can't be underscored enough. We need more unity. Canada is part of that, but right now it just shows great morale and shows the right side of history that NATO is on.
Yeah, you touched on this a little bit here, but I'm wondering if you can explain a little bit more about geographically why Sweden is an asset here, and sort of the piece of the puzzle when you put Sweden in with other NATO nations and what that means for Russia.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Sweden is quite a large country in the north. It now kind of encapsulates almost the entire of the North Sea. And it does make what's called a NATO lake now, with only a small little bit of it open to Russian ports. But that kind of meme has been going around the internet quite a bit, that this is now a NATO lake. The security that brings, the kind of awareness, situational awareness, the kind of resilience that having Sweden in the alliance brings. You have to remember that NATO for the past 10 years has been building its ability to respond to the unexpected. When Russia first invaded Ukraine and took Crimea in 2014, they did so in a kind of a very unexpected hybrid way, utilizing all sorts of different methods, not kind of the usual just marching right in, but they used all sorts of little green men, as you remember. They used all sorts of different political signals to confuse. And they were able to really exploit that inability to respond to the unexpected. Well, since that time, NATO's been just doubling down on their ability to respond in many different ways. And that kind of communication, collaboration, and situational awareness that every extra ally brings to the alliance makes the whole thing a lot stronger. So it's extremely valuable to the alliance.
But, you know, you mentioned Sweden's neutrality, hundreds of years of neutrality. How prepared are they if there was to be a potential conflict to actually go to war?
Well, they'd contribute different things. As I mentioned already, their Air Force is exceptional, as is their Navy. They actually have some great ships that are proper, stealth. They look like a stealth fighter almost. They've got great capacity for being able to go around the seas undetected. But also just making sure that Sweden, as part of the alliance now, are going to be participating in all of the operations. That's what happens. NATO takes all the different pieces of the pie and puts them together. And Sweden is no stranger to this. They've already been training with NATO pretty much every summer, every winter on different operations, with Finland, I should add. The whole idea was to be separate but integrated. Now they're fully part of the alliance.
Robert Baines, President and CEO of the NATO Association of Canada. Thanks for explaining all of this to us.
Yeah, pleasure.